He started out with trail riding, hitting a few races here and there, and then, found out that he loved it. Built this race rig, and here he is. He is one of our youngest drivers running in our unlimited bouncer class.
This also has a rear mount engine as well.
Connor would like to give a thank you and shout out to Kentucky Truck Works of London and Somerset, Raceline Wheels, and Fritz Transmissions.
One of our youngest drivers as well. Just ripping through that finish line out there.
With a 75.702. That is a second place time right here on course 1 for the RCB Axle Bouncer class. Daniel Heckley is in the lead with a 72, now followed by Connor Flynn with a 75, Ethan Jones with an 81, and Josh Krapinski running for Chris Grigg with a 93.
Looks like we've got Randall Keys back into that race line starting gate.
All right, Randall Key, here we go. Randall has been racing with us since the very beginning of this series. I think he's probably got more National Rock Racing Association events under his belt than anybody else out here in the series these days. We call him the OG, and we love seeing him out here still racing with us. It's always awesome. Randall's a great guy. Him and his wife, Wendy, always love catching up with him at the races. I've known him pretty much since 2012. And one thing we like to mention about Randall, if you're newer to the sport in the series, Randall is actually paralyzed from the waist down and drives completely with hand controls. So obviously the buggy is specifically set up for him. And, I mean, he is major multitasking in there from steering, throttle, brake, rear steer, shifting. He's doing it all with hand controls. And he does such an awesome job with it. This buggy is called the Undertaker. And one thing unique about it is it got an independent front and rear suspension.
Definitely making quick work of this Mickey Thompson mountain up here.
Randall would like to give a shout out to Vision RV and Wildcat Off-Road for helping support his race program. There it is.
Launching through that finish line.
91.593 for Randall Key.
I don't know. I can. Sorry.
Looks like we got Jay Stort sitting in that race line starting booth.
All right, guys. Taylor is working real hard right now. I know you guys have noticed the live feed's been going in and out on us this morning. We all know technology can be finicky, especially when we're in the middle of nowhere with kind of off the grid and no service at the park to begin with. So, man, hats off to Taylor for working hard and trying to get us back up and running here. I think we're good. thank you guys for hanging with us, for your patience. I know it's always a bummer to miss out on some runs, but the great thing is we've been recording. You guys will be able to go back and watch whatever you missed later. A quick recap right now. Daniel Heckley is in the lead with a 72, followed by Connor Flynn with a 75, Ethan Jones with an 81, Randall Key with a 91, and Josh Krapinski with a 93. And now we're sending Jay Stortz off the line.
Jay picked up a rental. He's picked up a buggy until his new one is done. It's a new Ford buggy. Definitely putting on a show so far this season with it.
Yeah, it had been a while since we saw this buggy, the General, out on the hills. It's been kind of fun to see it back in action. We talked a little bit about Jay's unfortunate run yesterday in the UTV class. He had a lot of breakage, definitely got our skinny pedal nomination for the day. We're so glad he's fine. And he's ready to rock and roll again today in the bouncer class, which is what he's really here for.
Yeah.
So I know he's glad for that too.
Doing an awesome job out there right now.
Jay Stortz comes all the way out of Perryville, Missouri to race with us. We call that group of racers the Perryville Mafia. Coming out and definitely an integral part of our race fam.
Wonderful people. And there's a pretty thick group of them from down that area. All right, I'm going to hop out of here real quick, and I'll see you guys in a little while.
All right, Matt, best of luck. Have fun. That means I've got Trip Pullen coming up to join me in the booth now while we watch Jay finish his run.
Man, what an exciting day to be here. It's a beautiful day we've been blessed with today.
We sure have.
This,
And Jay is coming through the last stretch here, and there it is. Let's see what his time is. 96.848 for Jay Stortz.
he sure laid down a good run. It was better than what he did yesterday.
Oh,
I talked to him in the pits, and he was getting prepared for today, and said he was a little sore, but excited to be back out here, and that's the main thing. He was safe.
We're glad he's all right, and we're glad to see him back out here today. I know he was happy for this run just now and making it through the finish line. No repeats of yesterday.
Yeah, right before I got here, I just got the chance to pray with Wade before he went and got his GoPro turned on. He's excited about to show how these journeys are going to hit this new hill. He said he played a little bit on it yesterday, got a feel of it. So,
well, we're excited to see whatever Wade's about to do.
You better have your cameras out because he's going to be fast.
Tripe, I like that you mentioned too that you prayed with Wade at the starting line.
Yes.
That's part of the last safety check we do here.
100%.
Important stuff. Wade Good about to show what he can do on course 1 here. Wade had an unfortunate rollover at our last race at Wildcat. He and Daniel Heckley both had really changed up what our expectations were as far as points and everything. So Wade is coming into this weekend 4th in points. Actually, he's tied with Clint Garrison. They both have 163, so they got that 4th and 5th spot right now coming into the weekend.
Yeah, I was kind of talking to him and Clint there for a second. They were kind of back and forth with each other, saying it's going to be a good weekend. So
far, so good for Wade. Hopefully he's able to clear his head and not be, having any residual thoughts from the turnover at Wildcat. And
he told me he left all that at Wildcat. He's really focused, and the DNF is not what he wanted, but he's ready to show the rest of the year what he's got. Oh, showing out at the finish line.
With a 70.110, that is your new leader right now on course 1. We are not quite halfway through our list of drivers. We still got a great lineup to go, so plenty of action still to come. But that was an exciting run from Wade Good.
And like we were just saying, Clint's right behind him. So now, knowing what Wade just did, he's going to have to step it up right here.
That's right. Speaking of Clint Garrison being tied in points with Wade, that's Clint on the line right now.
Hey, will somebody cut that GoPro off on Wade's buggy? It's good to see Clint driving. I know he had Larry Krogh driving for him for the first, maybe the second race because he had a accident with his hand. So
yeah,
now
he had some
Clint's
kind of injury to his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, glad to have him back out here for sure. This is Clint Garrison racing the Liberty 2 buggy. Clint had a third place finish
at Wildcat.
Yeah.
They're making short work of it right there.
They sure are. That Spyder slab has not proven to be too difficult for anyone in our bouncer class yet.
But it's in everybody's head, for sure.
I think this Yukon Do It Hill might come into play on round 2 for sure.
Yes. This course, Clyde and his guys have really stepped it up at this hill. They've changed it up, so they've put the work in for these guys. It's not just a cakewalk.
No, I think hats off to Clyde and his crew for always being able to come up with these creative courses. We run several classes out here, and 2 courses for each of them, and we're able to utilize the whole hillside and make it, like you said, keep them on their toes.
That's it.
Keep them on their toes, make it exciting, make it a show for all of our awesome fans, and these drivers are so good at that, and they handle whatever we throw at them.
Hats off to Hot Springs and their crew.
That's right.
They've come out here and this whole hillside to be able to, come sit with your family up under the canopies. We're waiting here on Clint's time, so.
And it was a 78.986 for Clint Garrison. A very solid run. Not enough to catch up to Wade on this course, but we'll see how things shake out.
Yeah, I think he was just wanting to get back in and put a decent time in and stay in that top 3 to 5, and I think that's where he's at. I've talked to several of these guys. Everybody just wants to be in that top 5 right now. First of the season, just keeping your stuff together. We got a Rush coming up, and right after Rush, there's no break. We're going back out to Oklahoma.
Yeah, 2 weekends in a row.
Yep.
Yeah, there's a lot of racing still to happen for this season. So when you're in the points lead, not all of our drivers are chasing points. Some of them come and just race here and there. They might race what's close to home, and that's awesome. We're glad to have them all out here. It takes a big commitment to run the whole season.
It does.
But for those that are in the points chase, there's they gotta have a little strategy to make it through a whole season. 10
races is a long time.
20 courses plus we do extra at finals. So it's a lot to put yourself and your vehicle through.
Got a wonderful crowd here today.
We do. Awesome spectators here at Hot Springs Off-Road Park. This is round 3 for the National Rock Racing Association. This weekend presented by Spyder Off-Road.
That's who keeps my Jeep going.
I got to go ride the trails with them a little bit yesterday. The Spyder crew.
I heard that.
Fun times. I see some Bacon on the line. Ooh. Tim Bacon about to show us what's up. And 2 Rowdy.
And that white buggy looks good.
See how he handles the Spyder slab.
Right up it.
Looking easy.
You can tell he's getting comfortable with this buggy.
For sure.
His brother's back watching at home. I can't wait to see him back out here.
We love having the whole Bacon crew join us.
Uh-oh. I see a little smoke coming from the engine bay. This downhill, he's making short work of it, too.
It's all downhill from here, Trip.
This little creek right here is checking them up, too, in this water. Oh, yeah.
Solid run. .734 for Tim Bacon.
There's a couple of them there at the 75.
Let's see, we've got Wade Good still in the lead with a 70, followed by Daniel Heckley with a 72. Then, oh man, look at this.
Wow, how close is that?
Connor Flynn with a 75.702. Tim Bacon with a 75.734.
Woo! You talking about some tight racing right there.
Wow. I don't know how they do it, Trip.
Hey.
Oh, man. So that's Wade, then Daniel, then Connor, then Tim Bacon. And let's see who's rounding out our top five right now. Looks like Clint Garrison with a 78 is rounding out our top five. Currently, we are halfway through course 1 for the RCB Axle Bouncer class.
I'm interested to see. Looks like we've got Dustin Medley on the line, and this is going to be his second race and unfinished business, a TC built buggy. He said he's getting some seat time in it and feeling more comfortable each hill here. So
it's been fun to see the return in this kind of swapping of hands of a lot of these buggies this season. Some of them we haven't seen kind of in the rotation for a few years, maybe like the General. And then we've got some that have swapped hands. I know we've got both of Jay Stewart's old buggies out here, Foreplay and Showstopper.
Yes.
Josh Krapinski and Justin Hoback driving those. And, it's been fun to see. And, we've got Unfinished Business back out here. I didn't think I might have seen the old Heart Attack.
Yeah, I did see it. Little Peep, I talked to Timmy last night on the phone. I had some of his guys and wanted to talk to him. I talked to him on the phone, and he's coming back soon.
Oh,
soon.
We'll see. Dustin Medley out on the course now. Speaking of Timmy, a TC-built chassis. This is Unfinished Business.
He just made that look easy.
I think he's taking care of some business on the course right now. Dustin also racing with us in the UTV Cup class, so he's getting all kinds of seat time this weekend.
Is. So he raced yesterday, and he's racing today in 2 different classes, so he's definitely getting some seat time. And it is showing, too. He is flying. Unfinished business is showing out.
We're going to have to rename it Finish Business.
Talk about, whoa. And he got it back on the left.
Wow.
Can you see that? Everybody, he is really showing out. Dustin Medley. Woo!
Holy cow.
Oh, and he gives he's having fun.
What did we just see?
Hey, when me and you're high-fiving up
crazy.
here, you know it. Woo!
Oh, man, he had a time of 70.511. That is a second place time right now, just barely behind Wade Good. We do have an Amsoil action shot of that wild finish from Dustin Medley. launched himself back onto his tires. Wow. Talk about some exciting racing action. I hope you guys are paying attention.
Woo.
So Wade Good is still hanging on to the lead with that 70.1, but Dustin Medley right behind him now with a 70.5. And then we've got Daniel Heckley with that 72 rounding out top 3. Matt Holt making his way out on the track now.
I thought Wade was showing out at the finish line doing his cyclones, and then Dustin come with that. So
Dustin said,
I'm one up you there.
Y'all watch this. And let's watch what Matt's going to do here on the Spider Slab. I know the old hyperactive buggy has been having some issues ever since Wildcat. Matt had, I think like 4 barrel rolls down the hill,
yes,
landed
did.
it, kept going, but it was a rough ride for the buggy. And I know Matt, even last night he was out here welding something on it, so we'll see how old hyperactive handles this course.
Well, he's up the first hill, so.
Hey, so that's
the start.
One at a time.
Hey, that's
one
it.
At
one at a time.
Matt comes from Decatur, Illinois to race with us.
I see his dad's out here having a good time with him. So,
yep. He built this buggy in 2017 from High Society Off-Road, and he's been racing it ever since. I know this thing has got a lot of miles both on the trailer and on the trail.
That's right.
And it's had a maybe a rough but fulfilling race life, we'll say.
Matt keeps it shined up for sure.
That's right.
He's got those Mickey Thompson tires looking good, his race line wheels.
New for this season, Matt put a Holley EFI fuel management system on there and Vision X lighting.
And he's got all the horses coming this way. I can hear him coming.
Here he comes. Winding his way through that little creek bed.
Oh, I was hoping for a good oh.
119.312 for Matt Holtz. I'm just glad old Hyperactive is still hanging in there.
He put a good one in right there for us. That's what it's all about, finishing the hills.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And Matt had talked about that too. He wants to finish all the hills this year.
I hope we get to see him do it.
Here we got Bowman's on the line.
Dan Bowman.
Another TC built.
And
buggy.
Tyrant. How many TC belt buggies we got out here this weekend,
We
Trip?
got Standback, Menace, Tyrant, Unfinished Business, Hellbent. So no 5.
Wow.
I love the red wheels on this.
Let's see how he puts them to work.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely got all his horses hyped up today. I can hear them talking. And this is a fresh motor this year from them, so he can tell a little bit of power difference from last year. He said he was down on power. Oh, he's got a fire. He's got a fire. Got a fire, fire, fire.
Shout out to our recovery crew and staff.
Right
for
on top of it.
being quick to the scene as always. Might as well go ahead and do a little plug for Fire Aid also.
Yes,
that product is amazing. We got fire suppression systems required in our bouncers as well. So all that comes into play because this is an extreme sport and you don't know what's going to happen, out here. And so we take our safety requirements very seriously. We've got a long list required for all of our drivers in all of our classes.
That's correct.
Not just the bouncer class. And you got to see some of it in play there between the fire suppression system and our recovery that are, we always had them strategically placed on the course with our fire extinguishers.
Safety is the number one deal here. We want everybody to go home to their families safe after this. First off, like Clyde always says, safety and then having fun. And I'm fixing to go back out here and have fun. So Matt's back. It's good to hear from all y'all, and I'll talk to y'all later.
Trip, thanks for joining us. We'll catch you later. Matt, welcome back to the show. While they're working on getting Dan Bowman recovered out there, looks like the fire is completely put out, but they're checking to see what's going on with the buggy. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit about your run?
Real quick, what did Dan catch on fire?
Oh, I don't know. It looked like it was underneath.
Okay. So maybe transmission line came off? I know they had a new transmission put in with new lines, so maybe a line fitting or something failed.
I'm sure we'll get an update on that from one of our crew down there once they finish checking on everything.
Dan is a heck of a competitor. Does a great job for us. Yeah, it's a rough course.
But old Hyperactive hung in there.
Yeah. I went ahead and clicked a second for that long. Before that long, steep run, I went ahead and clicked a second. Me and Wade were talking about it, what he thought, and we both run a Turbo 400, so there's 3 gears. So sometimes click into second gets you a little more wheel speed, but the motor kind of bogs down. So I thought, well, I'm going to go ahead and hit it in second, and if I don't make it, I can always back down and click to first. It was bogging really hard. I had some wheel speed, but it was bogging awful hard at the top. And then I thought, man, I wanted to click to first when I got to the top to come down. Did pretty well. Again, there's little puddles out there that splash up, and they're kind of almost like a gnat, like annoying splashing, trying to visit where you're going. And there's a couple we have 3 different passes where we're going down the bottom, which is kind of fun. A lot of turns, a lot more than we're used to. Good old days of hill killing. You have turns.
You got to pay attention now.
There's 4 different hills we're going up and down, and then there's 3 different lanes down here that Clyde's divided, which is a great course. There's some jumps. There's some moguls. Definitely a great course. It's a lot of fun. It's a very fun course. I've seen a couple of the limited bouncers down there that I'm excited to watch run.
Yeah.
Some new guys. Some of those guys were playing last night. I'm really, really excited to see that. I think it's going to be a lot of fun for them, too.
Yeah.
So I think it should be a good day of racing. Again, like I said, we're about halfway through, maybe slightly
more
than halfway.
halfway. Yeah.
So pretty good time. We had some fun runs. It was definitely a good time. So I think
we're glad to see you out there crossing the finish line. I know Hyperactive's had a little issues since Wildcat you've been working on, so
it was not happy with me after that.
The finish line, that's always a good feeling.
Yeah, it was not very happy after that. So definitely good to be out racing. Yeah, it looks like they're getting them pulled off. Keith, recovery expert out there. Keith Twillman, shout out to him for taking care of our recovery. He does a great job with that. We're very thankful for him. Shout out to Taylor back at the booth. He was working magic this morning. I was commentating from back there, and he was plugging cords.
Poor
and
Taylor's working hard.
Little one-man band back there. I was very impressed. He's, doing digital operation back in the back of the booth. So appreciate Taylor and all he does for our live feed and keep it going. So shout out to Taylor.
It takes a lot to get up and running and stay up and running.
It does
on a race weekend, especially when we're often in pretty remote areas. Obviously, you can imagine an off-road park like this. It's not going to be in the center of metropolitan area. So
they typically are not.
There's a lot that goes into keeping everything running. So thank you guys for your patience this morning. Let's go ahead and do a quick rundown while we finish that last bit of recovery there. Wade Good is still in the lead with a 70.1. Dustin Medley right behind him with a 70.5, which is just crazy to me. That was an awesome run from Dustin. Let's see who we've got next. I think it's going to be Daniel Heckley with a 72. And then we've got, listen to this, Matt, Connor Flynn with a 75.70. And then Tim Bacon with a 75.73.
Wow.
Yeah.
Literally, you're
crazy
splitting
stuff.
Hundredths of a second.
Crazy
difference.
Stuff.
Did Dustin Medley, did his buggy donkey kick? I look over and I just see a buggy, headlights, and then it lands, and then...
Oh, actually, I believe we've got an Amsoil action shot we can play for you guys. Since you asked,
yes.
Matt, this is Dustin Medley flying through the finish line, and then, look at that, boom, launched himself back up.
Puts it right back on the wheels. I was what just... I saw what looked like a tire and then maybe a headlight, and the next thing I see him just driving away, and I'm like...
There's a little cloud of dust with tires coming out of it, and you just never know out here.
It was wild. And then next thing they're like, "All right, you ready?" I'm like, "Wait, is there a guy on the track? He's driving
are we
off?"
good?
No, very cool. Again, shout out to all our recovery crew out there doing a great job for us. Again, like you guys talked about a minute ago, safety is very, very important. We take that very serious,
Yep.
And again, I take it serious because I'm one of the drivers that are out there racing. I know you've raced before, so, we look at it as a driver. You always look at safety. You want to make sure that's your number one priority. But as organizers, Clyde does a great job, installing the RI boxes and having lots of things that definitely make our sport as safe as humanly possible as we can. I know the Ultra 4 and Formula 1 and NASCAR do the same thing. They try to make it as safe as possible. So we got Cooper Bentley coming to that race line starting gate.
Cooper coming into the weekend first in points with 196. Coming off a win at our last race at Wildcat. I was near the Bentleys at the campground last night, and they were kind enough to offer me some of the dinner they were grilling up. Cooper had this giant plastic cup, and I asked him if that was his chocolate milk cup, and I was like, "Do you actually love it as much as Zach always jokes about it and everything?" Oh yeah, he said, breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Wow.
Got to have the glass of chocolate milk. So
yeah,
he is fueled by sugar and calcium out there right now.
Yeah, we had me and my dad had some chocolate milk and some donuts this morning, but that's more of a breakfast item for us. We do chocolate milk in the morning, but
whatever it is working for Cooper because he is flying through that finish line again. Whoa!
That's a 69.305.
That is our new leader.
Wow!
On course 1, he just edged out Wade Good. Wade with a 70.1, but Cooper now with a 69.3. Well done, sir. I'm going to have to start drinking more chocolate milk.
Apparently, that is the drink of choice for winners, as I'm sure he would say.
The drink of champions.
The drink of champions. Again, Cooper currently leading, coming into this weekend, leading the entire season in the rock bouncing field. So clearly, if he's drinking it, he's doing something right. All right, as Taylor loves to say, this is his favorite buggy, that Menace buggy that has definitely been causing a menace so far this season. Brandon coming in 4th for the points this season. I'm sorry, 3rd. 3rd overall.
He had a 4th place finish at Wildcat, but he's 3rd in points with 167 coming into this weekend. But, that's only a 4-point lead over Wade and Clint, who both were tied at 163. Of course, everything can change up and be looking a lot different by the time we finish our race today.
Yeah, the Wade and Clint were tied for 4th, and then Little Tim Bacon was 5th. Because I was like, do I say they're both tied for 4th? I'm like, we'll go and do top 5. So Brandon, again, having that independent front suspension, he can do some things that not everyone else can do. Again, having that IFS buggy, TC built chassis. I know we got a lot of different builders out here this weekend.
Here we go. Brandon Davis squaring up to the Spyder slab. Menace just soaks it all up.
Yeah, me and my dad were really talking about, do you go we see some guys go kind of square up to it. We see some guys kind of come in hot and steamy from that right side. What do you do there? But
driver's choice.
Brandon Davis out there choosing to kind of square up on it.
He's been racing Menace for 3 years now, so he's definitely got a good feel for the buggy and what it can do, what he can do with it. Putting those Mickey Thompson tires to work right now on the Mickey Thompson Mountain.
Just having a great smooth run going there. Again, that independent front suspension just kind of soaking everything up, especially this downhill section.
Man, that thing just roars. Ooh. 68.830 for Brandon Davis. That is your new leader right now.
Yeah, 2 runs in a row. We had a new fastest time We got
shaking things up.
We got a few more guys. I think they're definitely going to try to fix that.
We've still got Ben Driscoll, Nick Reich, and Ethan Hunt on the list. Wow, Brandon Davis. He just smoked that course. Yeah. 68.8. That means Cooper Bentley with a 69 in second place now, pushing Wade Good with a 70.1 down to third, Dustin Medley with a 70.5 to fourth, and then Daniel Heckley with a 72 rounds out the top 5 currently.
Again, this guy here, Mr. Ben Driscoll, sitting in that race line starting gate. Again, he was down here last night playing around. Definitely doing some testing and tuning.
Getting old Misfit ready to hit the hills.
Again, taking his time in that downhill section, being careful, being cautious. There's a big divot right there in that middle. It's kind of bucks you, so.
Ben was only able to race with us about 5 or 6 events last year. He's hoping to do the full season this year.
He picked up this buggy at May last year, May 4th to be exact. Picked it up, brought it out, or I should say unveiled it May 4th with us at Rush Off-Road Park in Rush, Kentucky, which will be out here in a few weeks.
Oh, launching down the hill.
He is definitely riding that thing on a ragged this morning.
Sometimes you just got to go with it. Wow, nice.
That's a 72.206, Mr. Ben Driscoll.
Nice. Right there behind Daniel Heckley, who's got that 72.0.
Oh, that top 5 is really chalking up right now.
It will never cease to amaze me how tight the times can be on a course this long.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's not like we're, drag racing on a straightaway
here.
Yeah.
And these guys
There's a lot of variables, and still we manage to be within hundreds and tenths of a second of each other.
It's so wild. Got Mr. Nick Reich, hailing out of Wisconsin. He has a long drive. I can't ever complain about drive anymore.
I think that just means he's that much more motivated when he gets here, because he said, man, if I'm going to drive this far to race, I got to make it count. Nick Reich. Let's see what he can do. The time to beat right now is 68.8 from Brandon Davis. We know what Fordzilla is capable of, and Nick has proven himself very capable this season as well. And last season, he was actually our Rookie of the Year for the 2024 season. Nick is not a rookie anymore. He had a second-place finish at our last race at Wildcat, and he is coming into the weekend second in points right now with 171.
Whoa!
Oh, no!
He aired it out and launched over the first jump. Unfortunately, got hung up on a little bit on a tree and couldn't kind of had to bobble those steps a little bit. Had a quick back up there, but
oh man, it looked like his plan might have been to just kind of skip right over one of those SCS step ups.
Yeah.
Until that tree messed up his plan a little bit, but man, he's still booking it. Cost him just a little bit, but he's still going to have a good time here. Let's see what it is.
Wow.
71.650 for Nick Reich. Even with that little bit of the bobble on the hill out there, still a great
still came
time.
in with a 71. I mean, that is moving. All right, we got D.C. Thompson pulling on that race line starting gate. He's going to be running Clayton Smith this weekend.
All right, like Matt said, this is DC Thompson running for Clayton Smith's points this weekend. And this is Ryan Boyd's buggy that was built by Reject Fab. I think it's like 5 or 6 years old now. DC was able to race it some last year. He continually battled some issues throughout the season, so hopefully he'll be able to get it in. A few more events this year. A full season would be awesome to see from DC in the bouncer class. DC, definitely a skilled wheelman. We are used to seeing him in the UTV classes from the last couple years.
Got hung up just a little bit, was able to pull it out, though. That last downhill section of this Mickey Thompson Mountain.
There it is.
That's a 75.511 for Mr. DC Thompson, running for Clayton Smith. Something doesn't sound quite right as he pulls by us. So I'm not sure if he has a sensor going bad or... All right, we got Ethan Hunt sitting in that race line starting gate. Again, it's been beautiful weather here today in Hot Springs, Arkansas. Making sure we got a clear course. Looks like they're getting DC Thompson backed in down there.
I think Ethan's ready to roll.
All right, Ethan's going to wrap up our unlimited bouncer class here. Racing that TC-built stand-back buggy. Kind of squaring up. Again, nice, easy, good, smooth climb. Again, you can see how much dirt and just that rock, that shelf rock, is going to be breaking off as the buggies pull up. I see you really need some good tire speed to pull up these hills.
Oh, blasting through that creek.
Double checking, I think his steering, make sure his steering was working. They were messing with the buggy for quite a while when I was pulling down there. Look, they're looking in to make sure everything's still okay.
That was definitely a hard lick. He kind of bottomed out coming through the creek there. Ethan was our last bouncer, as Matt mentioned, for our unlimited class. Course 1, let me go ahead and give you guys that rundown.
I know we had some super fast times there. 70-71 was pretty hard packed. Then we started breaking into the 60s. Absolutely an incredible time. Again, fast course. Some great racing. And again, we were kind of expecting this yesterday as we were watching the UTV class. Some of the UTVs were having some pretty quick times. Nothing too crazy, so we're trying to make sure that we had we kind of assumed that we would probably be going in some really quick times there. So, Bree, why don't you give our top 5?
All right. Brandon Davis took course 1 with a 68.8, followed by Cooper Bentley with a 69. Wade Good with a 70.1, Dustin Medley with a 70.5, and then Nick Reich rounding out the top 5 with a 71.6. Some awesome racing from our unlimited bouncer class, and we are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will be right back. We do want to let you guys know that Ethan is all right. We've got the thumbs up from him. So while they work on figuring out what's wrong with the buggy or whatever that might be, get him recovered. We're going to cut to a quick commercial. We'll be back with the limited bouncer class racing action.
Hey, oh my goodness, he neutral dropped it. That's about a 5,000 RPM neutral drop.
Yes.
So we have 3 different beadlock wheels that most of our guys use. We have the teardrop, we have the twisted, and then we have the twisted black. So we have a machine version of the twisted, and then we have the black. We have these in 14 and 15 inch, all 4 lug. But we'll be coming out with, in addition to some of the tires I was talking about earlier that we're coming out with, we're going to have a new line of wheels come out. Some of those will be 5 lug to keep up with some of the new manufacturing that's happening in the UTV world. But the beadlock wheels that we're selling right now, Rock Life and those guys carry these as well. So right now we're having some specials on them. So I'd recommend if you need a set of beadlocks, you're not going to find any cheaper than those.
All right, what is up, everybody? You're back here at Hot Springs, Arkansas for this beautiful, beautiful day of racing. We are getting ready to kick off our limited class, and this is a new class for this year. This is our 3rd race with those as well. Again, super new class we're excited for. Got a few drivers in that, and then we will, I think we're going to take a quick commercial break, or take a quick break before we kick off our youth and our
Well, we'll
teen.
have our teen
Okay,
first.
teen.
Yeah.
And then we'll take an afternoon break, and then we'll go to youth.
Yep.
And then we'll fire back up on course 2.
We are ready to head to the line and kick off course 1 for the limited bouncer class, and it looks like we've got Justin Hoback starting things off for us.
Again, Justin picked this new bouncer up from Jay. This was one of Jay's backup bouncers. Justin did a bunch of work to it and definitely been putting it down.
This is Showstopper 2.0, originally built by Jason Spiegel and then raced by Jay Stortz, as Matt mentioned. Justin Hoback's 3rd race in this bouncer. Justin also, used to seeing him in the UTV classes.
Oh, no. Back up. He broke a right rear shaft. Yeah, that right rear shaft is not pulling. And, man, yeah.
Oh, that's a tough spot, but I think,
Yes.
He's got it. You got to remember, guys, these hills are so much deeper in person than they look on camera.
Got a couple of our guys over our youth class, or our UTV drivers, running out to let them know that he broke a rear shaft. Now, some guys, they don't care. I've seen Jack Porter with a missing rear drive shaft send it up this hill.
Jack Porter does some stuff that most of our drivers probably wouldn't. Let's be fair. It looks like Justin did decide to, it was time to call it quits. It would be a tough course to do with that broken axle. That super grip slab, or spider slab, is no
difficult. Probably,
no joke.
Yeah, that's probably an understatement. Impossible would be probably a more accurate statement.
Oh, but man, we do hate to see that right off the bat for Justin.
Again, that's pretty fierce buggy, and Justin obviously loves to get out there and rip it. His brother Colton is here running our starting gate. We appreciate those guys. They've been racing off-road rigs for quite a while. Oren Mears coming out the race line starting gate now. He's one of our new drivers. Just sending it, though. That was awesome. Definitely a really sharp-looking buggy.
Is this the Heart Attack buggy that Greg Carey used to race?
I did see a buggy that said Heart Attack on the side out here this weekend.
I might be getting them confused. It's been a while since I've seen that one.
I'm pretty sure I saw a Heart Attack on the side of a buggy this weekend.
So far, so good for Orion Mears.
We went out and did a little trail ride last night in my dad's UTV. We went, the Bacon family, went out and did some trail ride, had a pretty good time. And we seen some buggies out doing a little trail ride.
Oh.
Yeah.
That tire's done for.
Front right tire let go.
I think everybody heard that.
Yeah, with our headsets on, we heard it pretty clear. So when a tire lets go, you can usually tell the sound of it pretty quick. Again, you can see the tires wadded up on there. Bead locks always keep the tire on the bead. So again, shout out to Raceline for making great bead locks that will keep the tire on the bead, even if there's no air pressure in it. So if it wads that tire up, at least we'll again, being able to get out there and at least wad the tire up around the rim and get some traction still. So looks like he's still going to get a finish out of it.
Well, lucky for him, it's all downhill from here, Matt. Oh. Does he have some extra articulation in the front right now?
Yeah, it looks like there
Uh-oh.
There may be a few more issues there. Okay.
All right, stick with it.
Almost
You're
there.
going to make it. Oh,
wow.
Nice.
That is awesome. That's 133.621 for Orion Mears. Yeah, he broke some stuff. I would say the flat tires went, and then he may have.
And then the tie rod.
Yeah, I would say he blew a tire, and then with that tire flapping, it was pulling real hard and probably ripped some bolts out. Or
when the front tires look like they're in a disagreement with each other,
it's never a good thing. But you know what? He still got a finish out of it. I'm very
he sure
proud of
did.
him. That was awesome.
Way to stick with it. All right, so the heart attack buggy that I was thinking of, guys. We're about to have a racer we haven't seen out here in a while, and a buggy we haven't seen out here in a while. Whenever he comes to the line. So CJ Bynum is going to be racing the old heart attack buggy. Probably been about a decade since CJ has raced. That's what I think I heard.
Flat Nasty Off-Road Park, the old one. In 2016, I think, was the last time he raced.
Yeah, that's
2016 at the old Flat Nasty. That's where he rolled over in a creek, and me and my brother and like 30 spectators had to flip the buggy
Was
over.
that in Venom?
Yes. That was like 19 Venom versions ago.
Yeah, so Jack Porter racing the current incarnation of the Venom buggy. But yeah, CJ Bynum did used to race it back in the day. That buggy's been around quite a while. CJ, of course, you recognize the Bynum name. CJ is Clyde's son. And it has been a hot minute since he's been out on a race course, so this will probably be fun to watch, and hopefully for CJ it's fun to drive as well.
Yeah, I remember watching CJ at it was the old Flat Nasty Off-Road Park in 2016. That was the last time I think he ran.
I think that might be someone from our teen class.
Getting ready?
Getting ready to go down there.
Maybe. Dan Bowman came up and he said the buggy's started up, it's running, but he can't figure out exactly where the fire came from, whether it's oil or transmission fluid. So
suspicious.
He's going to have a couple rigs falling back up with fire extinguishers and just take it back and load it back on the trailer. He said, "Man, having a DNF, I'm already out of the points for the day." So he said, "I'm not going to worry about risking tearing something else up." So he said, "I'm just going to
worth it."
Yeah, which you hate to see, just because Dan's such a fierce competitor.
Yeah,
the guy's a monster, and again, I definitely had an awesome time. I really want to see him come out and just take it out. Dirt Nasty. So yes, Dirt Nasty. I'm sorry, Dirt Nasty. Yes, the old Dirt Nasty Park. Flat Nasty has rock ledges. It's never changed. I've raced there too. Dirt Nasty and Flat Nasty back in like 17 and 18. I think we raced at Dirt Nasty and Flat Nasty both. We raced at all the Nasties. Nasty Girl, Nasty Girl at Oklahoma.
Oh,
we had Dirt Nasty and Flat Nasty, which are again great parks.
All right. CJ he's a little out of practice for getting suited up and getting into the buggy, apparently. It's taking him a couple extra minutes here.
Yeah. I'm sure in the last 10 years, our safety gear's probably improved slightly. Like, we got to wear these now?
It definitely has, which we're very grateful for.
Yes. I remember watching some of the old races back when it was like, just like.
When I started racing in 2012, we just wore a foam neck roll.
Yeah.
No fire suit. Hope for the best. Well, of course, we didn't have near as much horsepower either, and the hills were not as extreme as they are now. Everything has evolved.
Yeah.
And, of course, safety had to evolve to keep up with it, which was necessary, and we are very glad for.
It's so funny going to Hawk Pride. One of the courses, one of the return courses we used to use, like the return road, is Clyde said the first year race here, that was one of the courses.
That was the race.
And he's like, now it's a return road for like little kids and side by sides. He's like, it's just so funny how the sport has evolved so much since 2012.
Yep. Yeah, yesterday I mentioned I got to go do a little Jeep riding with Clyde and Crystal and their crew, their SpyderOffroad crew. And Clyde and I were kind of reminiscing and talking about, when this park used to be called Superlift.
Yep.
When we first were racing here, I had the Juggy race here to probably 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And then when the Avenger was brand new, I first raced it at Backdoor Shootout at KOH, but the first, I don't know, but other race I did with it at around here was the East versus West Shootout that we did here at Hot Springs when it was called Superlift. So Clyde knows this park like the back of his hand, so he was reminding me, remember this one over here and Ingrid's Revenge over here and all these different trails. So it's fun to think back on the sport and the history we have with it and the people involved.
Yeah.
How it's all changed over the years and grown. It's good stuff.
Yeah, it's not too far away from Clyde's shop. They're not too far away. We actually went near the edge of Memphis, which is Horn Lake, Mississippi is not too far from Memphis. So we were kind of cruising through the edge of that on the way down from Illinois. So we know it's not too far from Clyde's shop. I'm going to say 3.5 hours.
All right, here we go. We're getting CJ Bynum lined up. Clyde just said this is either going to be good or really bad. He hasn't been in a bouncer in about 10 years, apparently. Yeah. CJ hasn't, so. Running for Ranger, I believe.
That's what I heard.
I haven't seen this buggy in a long time either. It's been years. I don't know. That's since Greg Carey was racing it. So far, so good. This heart attack buggy's got a very distinct sound to it.
Definitely hear some whistling there.
Figure out, I gotta wait for him to get on it again so we can hear it. Looks like we had another front right tire casualty.
Kind of sounds like supercharger on the front of it.
All right, heading for the SCS step-ups. You guys are watching our third driver of the limited bouncer class, Course 1. Our third and final driver of the class. This is CJ Bynum out on the course. Clyde's son and first time racing in about a decade. We'll have to get his thoughts on it once he's done.
Definitely great to see him back out having some fun. Making quick work of this Mickey Thompson Mountain. Yeah, I think he's having some issues.
He's having some steering trouble, too.
He was swinging a wide corner down there.
I'm having some deja vu from our last driver. It's definitely got the most distinct sound out here of any of the buggies. And he's through the finish line.
That's a 123.239 for Mr. CJ Bynum.
293.
Yeah, I see a supercharger on top. Maybe it looks like a Kenny Bell, maybe?
All right, and that is our fastest time for round one of the limited bouncer class. CJ with a 123, followed by Oren Mears with a 133. And then Justin Hoback, unfortunately, did have a broken axle, gave him a DNF.
All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial break and set up for our teen class, which will be right next. All right, we're back here with our team amateur class. Again, this is teenagers who have graduated from our youth program, as well as some amateur racers.
This is Sadie Ellison out on the course now. We repped the Ellison Racing shirts yesterday for our featured driver Friday. We watched Cohen Ellison racing yesterday, and now we've got sister Sadie Ellison out on the course now. We'll see another member of the Ellison Racing crew later today as well.
We got a handful of that Ellison crew out here racing with us this weekend.
Sadie comes from Clanton, Alabama to race with us. Looks like she might be having a little trouble with her turn at the top of the hill there. There she goes. She and Cohen share this stock 2020 Razor Turbo XP, built by Boggs Welding and Fab, and her dad.
So we had a piece of tape at the top for the bouncers. We had to. We're going to take that tape down because it was kind of part of the course for the bouncers. So we're going to pull that down. So then we're going to let her rerun because it was kind of going across the course. So she went up there and kind of made an awkward turn, but we will go ahead and pull that down, let her rerun.
Well, and then, poor Sadie's always got something. She at Wildcat, she had to stop and redo her run too. So. Hey, way to be a good sport, Sadie, and hang in there. That was just your rehearsal run.
Yeah.
Now you get to do it again for real.
Yeah, we had some safety officials that parked in a great spot. Unfortunately, it was right in the middle of the course.
It was great for everything else but the teen class.
Yes, the teen class went through where they were sitting at, so.
When you're running 7 classes and multiple courses for each class, sometimes tape has to be moved around.
Yeah. Because I assure you, tape is your best friend when you're racing and you're going by and things are whizzing by you. You want some tape to help guide you.
All right, so that was Sadie's little rehearsal round there. She's ready for the real deal now. Here she goes.
We got Sadie Ellison coming off that race line starting gate again.
Sadie started racing with us in our youth class. She had her first race in 2023 but last year is when she really got to get a few events under her belt and is hoping to be able to race the full season this year. And has also, of course, moved on up to the teen class. Our youth class is for 12 and under. Teen class is for 17 and down to 12. So we created this class this season in order to have a place for our youth drivers that aged out of the youth class, but, weren't quite ready to just jump right in with one of our other classes yet. We wanted to have a place for them to continue racing, continue getting that seat time. And, so the teen class, kind of a subclass, if you will, was created for this season. Yeah. And Sadie is doing awesome out there.
Again, we talked a little bit. We saw our UTV stock class race yesterday, and some of those guys are just such fierce competitors. When you take a 12-year-old that's used to racing this tiny 170 and then throw them in a 1,000 Pro R or something that's, racing against guys like Wade Good in a stock vehicle, it's just a little fierce competitor, so we tried to ease them in. We created this class just this year to kind of help ease in and kind of have a mitigating class to help get them used to racing big cars without having to kind of throw them to the wolves.
Yeah, and Sadie has been doing great this season. She had a third-place finish at our race at Wildcat and is coming into this weekend third in points with 176, and she is through the finish line. 109.337 for Sadie Ellison, our first teen driver out on the course. For course 1, we've got Brantley Havens in the on the starting line now.
Appreciate everybody tuning in the live feed today. We got a ton of people in the chat in there. Got a few more of our amateur teen class, and then we will take a quick break, a little lunch break, for me and Bree at least. Then we'll come back and have course 2. We'll start off with the youth class, then we'll do course 2 of the
everybody else
unlimited.
Yep.
Very excited. Again, so far we had some quick racing today. The bouncers. It went about again after watching the UTVs yesterday. I think it went about as I expected. So I'm hoping that course 2 here will be about the same. Again, the rocks, big rocks, don't really change much. So I think everybody kind of has a pretty good game plan going in. I know that kind of changes. Again, we saw like Brandon Davis come in and kind of square up more where some of the guys were coming in that far right line, kind of like the UTVs did, or far left line versus the just kind of squared up on the right side of it.
And Brantley Havens is on the course now. Brantley was our winner at our last race at Wildcat. He's coming into the week. He also won at Windrock, so he's coming into the weekend leading in points with 206. Brantley, another one of our drivers that started out in our youth class, aged out of it, and doing an awesome job this season in the teen class.
Heck yeah, you can just tell Brantley wearing his big old cowboy hat around. Got his race suit tied around his waist.
He's had a different hat on his last couple podiums.
You can see that sticker on the door there. Got his 2 weeks out racing logo. How do you think you'd have done if racing in the youth class at, when you were his age? Think you'd done okay? Was Bree a young, fierce competitor?
I was more into horses at this age.
Yeah.
I got my horses when I was 9. So my brother was the one with the go-karts and everything. I didn't get into the off-roading and the vehicles till a little bit later in life myself. I do think I still would have had a blast in that, though.
That's a 76.943 for Mr. Brantley Havens.
Wow, well done, Brantley. Awesome run. That means, I believe, we've got Jace Northington on the line, and he's going to wrap up course 1 for the UTV teen class. Jace had a second place finish at Wildcat and is coming into the weekend second in points with 192.
Jace lost on that race line starting gate. Our youth have been pretty fearless today.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a couple little ledges going up there. It looks like just one long steep hill, but there's 2 or 3 ledges that'll kind of buck that front end up. So some of the guys you can see kind of having a little trouble as they're kind of bobbling side to side. It's because there's several pretty fierce ledges there that you want to make sure you square up on.
Oh, all right. He's rolling again. I believe that Windrock this year was Jace's first race ever. So this will be his third race. That is impressive to come out here brand new as a racer and, like you said, Matt, just coming out fearless onto the course. Very impressed with our teen class so far this season, and I hope that we just continue to add drivers to the class and continue to grow it.
Yeah,
as well.
Oops. Went a little bit too far, but he's backing up and correcting.
Oh, come on, Jace. You're so close.
There he goes. There he goes. Getting that time.
Nice.
Some great driving.
With a 103.647 for Jace Northington.
All right. Do you want to give us a quick rundown of those top 3 for the UTV?
Yes, I do. Brantley Havens had the fastest time with a 76.9. Then Jace Northington with a 103 and Sadie Ellison with a 109. Awesome job to our teen class. A lot of fun watching those guys come out here and race. Hope we continue to see them racing this season and continue to grow the class as well. So,
and Joy Life said, what time are you coming back? He said, you've used up all your notifications for the day. I think they're saying we're going to kick the youth class off at 12:15, which gives us about 45 minutes, it looks like, a half hour.
So 12:15 we'll be back. We'll let the youth class go ahead and run both of their courses, and then we'll shut that down and come back with a new feed to finish everybody else out with course 2 for the rest of the day. So you guys don't go too far. 12:15, we will be back. We'll see you then.
We'll see you guys.